G'day guys. I thought I learned a thing or... Whoa, hang on a minute. We've got a bit of a dodgy stand happening here. I learned a thing or two while I was doing that rear diff bracing kit last episode, so I thought I'd make this one a bit more of a how-to video. For those of you that might be interested in learning yourself, this is the first diff that I've ever done. I did a heap of research, spoke to a heap of fab guys. I've got heaps of mates in the industry that build race cars, and that's their daily profession and life. Got heaps of advice from them and really wanted to give it a go. I learned a heap, and if I was to do it again or do a front diff, what would I do different? So yeah, let's rip into it. Step one is basically putting the pieces on the diff as much as you can without them being on the diff. So what does that mean? Let's get into it, I'll show you. Just about to mark all of this out, and on this one I just thought I'd take the time. On this back diff, we definitely took the time to get it all square and straight and everything like that, but we were probably focused a little bit more at the start on setting up the welder and getting the welder running, and both of us, like I said, we aren't welders, so we were probably more focused on that, which we could have trimmed some of these up a little bit more, and that would have saved some filling and stuff with welds, especially because we're not welders and we're not great fillers. Once again, absolutely pumped with the outcome, and I think it's going to be a really good looking diff. But with this one, I just thought, front of the car, let's take a little bit more time and focus more on the kit now that we're kind of dialed in the welder a bit. So just little things like this, I can see it's just sitting raised where it's meant to sit. And it's just this little lip here catching first, so I'm just going to slowly work that away till that's no longer a catch point, and it'll hopefully sit and bed nicer in this whole line along here. That's now, you won't be able to maybe see in the camera, but that's like the tiniest gap through there, and it's sitting nice and solid along this whole line. Now all I got to do is actually try and weld it properly, but that's another story. At least we're sitting nice and square, so that's that piece. I'm just going to mark that all in here now anyway, so I can know where to clean up with the wire brush, and then we'll probably maybe try and find the bolts to the front diff and get these bolted on and in place, and once they're bolted, then we can work out looking at welding them on and what we need to do there. So very cool. We'll just keep ticking along. I just raced to the old room, mate. Look, rear front diff and front diff. Go through a few bags, boom, Bob's your uncle, found the bolts. That's how easy it can be. Yes, this is the first build I've ever done like this, ever. And damn, it feels good. Yeah, labels. Yeah, labels. Yeah. Yeah, organisation. Yes. See that's kind of sitting proud there at the moment. Obviously all I've done now is got these plates bolted up nice and tight on both ends. As you can see, when you put this gusset here, this little lip here doesn't line up because it needs to push further this way. So all we're going to do is trim the end of this plate here, just little bits at a time till we get a nice snug fit, and then find our place there. And then yeah, we'll do that on this side, do it on that side, get these sitting in place and marked, and then we'll clean up all the paint on here. Obviously clean up all the paint around where we're going to weld onto these arms down here. I've just got to find all the spots, and I'll try and seam weld that as much as I can wherever I can get the gun into. And then we'll head down to the other end down there, and we'll do the same thing. We got the gussets put on this side, and we'll weld all this. Once all that's all welded, we can take these nuts off, and then we'll focus on doing the pumpkin cover. Might just have a look now. Oh mate, I remember my first time using a shifter. Freaking socket set, not even a shifter. So, we cannot use that without Ooh. Oh my goodness. It's still a bit hot. So that's basically, if you run a line, that's about where it's going to sit now. Let's cool it down quickly. It's very owy. Where we're at is if I hold that roughly where it's going to sit. We're still touching on this front edge here. We're clearing here, but we still need to move this notch a bit further over to the weld and kind of close up that gap. So we still need to come that way, but we're also starting to touch here, which means we might need to actually round off this bottom edge just fractionally as well to get a bit more, get it sitting in here, or it might sit up in this weld. But we'll just keep working on this back and work on the length first. So a bit more trimming off there and then possibly rounding that there, but it's looking good. Whoa! Yeah man, I might just round that tip a fraction, which will drop us a little bit lower. That's about as good as we're going to get. Alright, that is pretty much spot on, or as good as we're going to get. So that's going to get labelled as... And then yeah man, we're just going to grab the next one on the other side, do the exact same thing, measure it up, make sure it's sitting nice. We'll start off by just chopping a bit of the end and then slowly work it down till we get a snug fit. And once we've done that, we move on to these top ones here. So these go on the exact same, pretty much opposite side of the diff. On the top side, underneath the coil spring perch. We'll have to trim them, I would say, and work them in a little bit. I'll get into it. Alright, we are at the stage where our brackets are now all trimmed up and ready to be tacked in place. So we'll take these two out the way for the moment. We'll do a quick little tidy up. We'll disconnect these for the moment. This one can stay. And then yeah, then we're going to start. We have got faint lines. You probably won't be able to see them on the camera. They're really faint in texture, but we've got lines where all the bracketry is about to sit. So basically just threw everything on. Did a big trace around with a pen, so we're now going to go and clean up all those edges and areas and everywhere where we're going to weld, and yeah, so yeah, should be fun. Had something, the tiniest thing, I've been trying to get it for like hours, cannot find it, but every time I touch something soft like my clothes or my hair, it's just like agony stabs me, and you can rub it, didn't hurt. Anyway, I think I've just sussed it, mate. Found it. Whatever it was, moved it gone. More deeper in so I can't feel it. Great. Alright guys, so I ended up doing a little bit more measuring and trimming. I'm not sure where it left off. The camera died, so I've just plugged it back in for a bit, but I've cleaned up most areas. There's a few more little areas I've got to get to weld. I've welded in a section down there as far as I can get the nozzle, just running down there a bit and up to the top. Done a little stitch there, and I've done a stitch there and also underneath. So I'm going to finish off this second part. I tossed up for ages what would be better to get this on first or this arm, and I think this was the best option because there's not actually much you need to weld that way, and you kind of get the whole inside of this. Anyway, I'll show you later, but it was the best option. And then I've just tacked this guy in place, one there, and one around the back here somewhere. So it's just kind of sitting there. It's nice and square at the moment. This is the line here where I'm going to weld on basically, that I've got to clean up. So I suppose we just do it and see what happens really. yeah, we can pretty much tack those plates on, and then once those plates are welded on there, we can throw the gussets in and we're right to go. So, well guys, we have finally come to the end of Sunday night. We've had a massive weekend in the shed. I am up to, yeah, diff brace, I'm so stuffed. Center pumpkin is tacked or stitched in a fair few spots now. I've got a couple of stitches on the crossbar. I've got one on the radius arm or hyperflex plate. But I think for tonight that's it. I'm going to wrap it up and go in, clean up, have a feed, and then the week starts again tomorrow. So, but I think I'll get out here tomorrow anyway and try and finish off this diff, and then I really want to jump in and just clean both of the diffs as best I can, strip all the paint off them, get the wire wheel and the kind of abrasive brush onto them and just really go hard for a few hours, clean them right up, and then try and get them painted ASAP. Yeah, but absolutely wrapped with how they're coming up. They look unbelievable, super solid, super tough. These guys, these are going to be amazing diffs, so very, very keen to get them under the car. Yeah, that's me for tonight, guys. Thanks for subscribing, thanks for watching. You're all legends. Alright guys, we have done one end. It's actually been quite a while. It took me a fair bit of time to kind of get these just really nice and square to the face of the diff, and trying to get them as straight as I can running down the body of the diff housing, and same as on the bottom. You know, it's where are we? Yeah, so it was a an interesting journey, but yeah, super good. So I'm going to jump in and do the other side over here, and then yeah, we will finish stitching this beast of a diff up. It is looking so cool, but absolutely chuffed with it. It's going to look mad. Almost armored up, boys. All right, we have finally tacked on the gussets. So now all that's left to do is finish off all the stitching. Top gusset on, tacked on. This one's tacked on. Straight as I can get it, mate. So it's looking solid as. So yeah, I'm just going to jump in now and start zapping away and hopefully finish off this diff in the next couple hours. Literally have 1, 2, 3 little stitches to go, and this diff is finally finished. Massive effort. I'm so stoked right now at yeah, so stoked. We'll knock these out and then I'll yeah, 3 stitches. Are fully stitched. The welds are definitely looking better on this pass or on this diff. Kind of got some good consistency, especially at angles that were a bit easier. Some in here that are pretty dirty, but it was just such a small area to work with, so I just kind of did my best. This side's the worst side, but I don't think you're going to see that. Yeah, buddy. Absolutely pumped.